Hey friendos, I'm your host David West. Today I am joined by Ryan Caligiuri, CEO of High Rise Leadership. We'll explore the intriguing ways AI could transform the coaching and teaching landscape, making it more personalized than ever before. Join us as we discuss how AI is shaping the future of leadership training and coaching and discover whether it can truly replace the human touch. It's a conversation you won't want to miss. Let's explore the fascinating blend of technology and humanity on this episode of Remember the Human. So, man, I want to ask you a question. I like starting things off with something simple. Um, when you think about artificial intelligence, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, like in terms of a memory, or like when you're thinking about AI? Like, what's something that brings you back to the term AI?
Oh man, it's so silly, so stereotypical, but it's like the machines taking
Yeah.
over. It's machines taking over human jobs, leaving us for dead, just nothing for us humans to do. We can't compete with the machines, man. That's what I think about. So bring you back to Terminator, RoboCop, all that stuff, right? I mean, I don't even know
Yeah.
if it was AI, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind when you think of AI. It's just machines replacing us. But I know that it's not like that. However, that's what the fear in the back of my mind tells me. It's like, hey, man, the machines are going to take over. Artificial intelligence is going to take over. Part of me still believes that. And part of me still believes that that's a risk that I have to mitigate, that we have to mitigate, that we have to think about. But is it true? I don't know. Maybe not right now. Maybe in the future. Who knows? But that's what I think about, man.
That's cool. So I think of the same thing. I think of the Terminator. Like I think of Arnold,
This-
with the sunglasses and just
we're
shooting everybody. I'm like, oh
we're all doomed, man. We're all doomed. If we're all thinking that, and it's gonna come true, man. Don't put that energy out there. What are you doing?
no,
Ah,
no, that's just where it is. But let's take that line with it. So you say like there's always this worry of AI replacing us.
yeah.
Right. And that's fair. And I want to, I think that risk and that fear is warranted in some cases. Like it's very new and this is, it almost seems like AI comes off as magic. And I look in different industries and like you're in teaching and
Hmm.
coaching and leadership and, making people better. I
Hmm.
want to call it making people better
Nice.
versions of themselves. That's how I
Hmm.
interpret like what my research has shown.
Hmm.
So when you look at things like teaching, right, you teach a class at the University of Winnipeg.
Hmm.
How does AI fit into that? Like, how do you think that's going to, is that going to have any impact on how teaching is delivered, do you think, in your context?
We're teaching. Let's talk about teaching first, and then let's talk about what I'm preparing them for.
Okay.
So teaching first, yeah. I mean, even University of Winnipeg, when they first came out, U of M as well, and or when they came out, when ChatGPT came out in December, I think it was around January timeframe, February timeframe, we received an email letting us know that some people's their ability to write essays, their ability to write reports, assignments, for some reason was dramatically improving. Their grammar was dramatically improving. And it's just, obviously we know what's going on here. So at that point in time, they encouraged us to maybe do more presentations. I'm not sure. Oh, my AI is talking to me now. Um, Siri's always listening, man. She's always listening. But they encouraged us to do more presentations. They encouraged us to engage people more in the class as opposed to doing written assignments. Now, I don't agree with that. I think that you can't fight technology. You have to find a way to use it, find a way to integrate it, find a way to make your life better, whatever it is you're trying to do. So, from a teaching perspective, I know that my students are going to use ChatGPT to do some of their assignments. In leadership development, I have an assignment called reflection, where it's, hey, what did you learn over the last 2 weeks? I want you to write a reflection for me. Well, all you have to do is pull up your notes, pop that bad boy into ChatGPT, make it 2,000 words, and it can put something together for you real, real nice. So now I know that ChatGPT exists. I know they're going to use it. I know that they have used it in the past. So what do? I changed up my teaching style. I want to see videos now. Create a video for me and upload that. I want to see you verbalize it, which in case I actually think that works better because now they are being forced to learn to verbalize what they have to say. They can use ChatGPT to create their notes, point form, and I encourage them to use ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT to put your notes together, to create a script, but I want you to present it. At the same time, I want to give them ChatGPT, make them use ChatGPT, for example, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT, whatever is Bard or whatever the tool is of the day. I want them to use the tool to learn deeper. I want them to learn about the leadership behaviors of Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Jesus Christ, whomever people look up to, Mother Teresa, Princess Di. I want them to use ChatGPT to learn about things that might take them longer to Google. So if I need them to do research, don't do the research anymore. Go and use ChatGPT, and they get far richer answers, which actually increases the ability to have discussion in class. So again, more talking, but using ChatGPT to help frame those conversations.
That's really interesting. So you're encouraging students to use ChatGPT to assist them, and that's so again embracing the technology aspect of
Have
it.
to, man.
So when you look at something like the grading, right? So you're grading them, like you said, you're doing videos or doing more in-person discussions. Like, how do you look at grading something like that? Because before, I guess it would be more like, I mean, just again, traditional, no teacher, but you have your, I have my assignment, I complete it, video or whatever, and then I get a mark. Now, if I can get ChatGPT to kind of fill in all those blanks, are you really rating the student on their
Yeah.
skills?
Oh, that's a great question. So it has changed the rubric up, right?
Okay.
So it changes the grading criteria. So now what I'm looking for is I want to see their ability to think critically about the material that they've learned. I want you to take what you've learned in class through lecture. I want you to take what you've learned in class through discussion, through debate. I want you to take what you've learned that you've garnered through research on ChatGPT, and I want you to come together with unique, novel insights. What are some unique, novel insights that, sure, ChatGPT could probably create this for you? But I really, truly, honestly believe that if you engage people and you truly engage them at a deep level, they're going to walk out of a class with real insights. Can you fake it the entire way through? Absolutely. But I think it's my job to actually get students to think, not just to complete an assignment for a grade. I want to engage them. I want to make them think. And so knowing that ChatGPT is out there as a tool to help them become more learned, to be more knowledgeable, to find information faster, more specific information faster. Man, how much faster can we build a body of knowledge? If they have access to more facts, more perspectives, they build that body of knowledge. And the bigger that body of knowledge over the semester that I teach them, the more insight that they can gain. And the cool thing is, my whole goal is, especially in leadership development, is to move them closer to a place of wisdom, knowing nuance, being able to see both sides, finding the gray areas. And so it's changed the rubric up where it's like, I really want to see your ability to think through complex problems where there aren't really answers to. It's not black and white. So I'm in a very um, lucky position, I guess I could say, because I can take liberties with leadership development. If I was in a different class, like, I don't know, teach an English 1, for example, where it's all essay writing and compare and contrast, I might have a different approach. And so it'll be interesting to see what those professors, those instructors might have to say. But I'm in a position where I can challenge them. And so ChatGPT to me is a tool to be leveraged to help them think more critically, to help them develop a bigger body of knowledge, at which point they'll derive greater insight and it makes them as individuals smarter, more wise.
It's interesting. As I like that. Just to stick with the Chat GPT and teaching, I want to transition over to your the coaching side of this in a
Yeah.
bit here. But I want to ask you about have you heard of the idea of zero GPT or these kind of AI detection
Mm.
tools?
So I have heard of this,
Okay.
and it's really funny. So I don't know if it's true or not. I one of my students told me this, but they used ChatGPT to write one of their papers or write one of their, not essays, but write one of their assignments for them.
Yeah.
But their professor told them that, oh, we're going to use a tool that's going to detect if this was written by an AI, so don't worry. So he goes, yeah, but then there's a tool out there that can scrub that so that you won't know that it's written by an AI. And I'm like, oh man, like check. Oh, sorry, checkmate. Like, gotcha. I don't know if it's true, but maybe there's a tool out there, maybe there isn't. I don't know. You tell me if it's true or not. But I never validated that one at all.
It's 100% true. Uh, I have
Sneaky devils. I love them.
I just as a fun side, I got to watch a live stream over a course of 5 minutes. A good friend of mine who does this, and he's trained a prompt in ChatGPT so well that he can give it a 2-word prompt, like write me a post or write me a 1,000-word essay on strawberry ice cream. Doesn't matter what it is, and it'll write this beautiful thing in his style. It's so
Come
well.
on.
He
Come
picks it up, he
on.
drops it into ChatGPT in the live stream, like doesn't even edit, just drops it. There's a 0.01% chance that AI influenced this or was written by this. I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's already broken. Like that system.
Wow.
It's going to give you more false positives than anything. From what again, that's my take on it. What I've seen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand the challenges. Like people are going to want to combat this. Like just like piracy. You want to fight it,
Right.
but
But
you
this
can't
is the
fight
thing.
plagiarism too. You got to fight it always. But
This is the thing. Like, you can fight it, but man, that's an uphill battle and you are going to get exhausted. Find a way to use the tool. Find a way to integrate it. It requires some creativity on the part of the instructor. It requires a change in philosophy in terms of how you teach. And I think it's for the better. I don't want to sit up there and have to lecture. Like, that's my style. I would rather engage in discussion. I'd rather engage in dialogue. Hey, over lunch hour, pull up ChatGPT. Like, one of the first things I did in leadership was I told them, hey, who uses ChatGPT? About half did, half didn't.
yeah,
So half of them had no idea. So the first like 10 minutes, I showed them how to go to OpenAI, how to open a ChatGPT account. And I suggested ChatGPT because it's just what I use. I know
yeah,
there's an assortment of different tools, but I showed them how to use it real quick. And I said, it's like Google on steroids. Go ahead and use it. So showing them like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Of course it is. Over lunch hour, I want you to think about, certain individuals who were influential in your life, people who were, politicians, people who were thought leaders, actors, whomever. And I
right.
want you to ask ChatGPT what leadership behaviors they demonstrated and come back and we're going to talk about it. So it's just, man, like, use the tool creatively. It'll make for better lectures. It'll make for better opportunities to teach. It makes it more engaging. Like, use the damn tool. It's like, would you not recommend people use Google? Of course not. Students would use Google all the time. Why would you not? So just because ChatGPT is new, it doesn't mean you should fight against it, but that's what these old institutions want to do. They love to fight against these new tools. These tools are a threat. No, they're not. Don't fight technology. Embrace it. And it's sad to say, but a lot of people are still fighting against it. I think there's a huge group of people who are trying to find ways to embrace it, but I think it's all contextual. It all depends on
Mhm.
what you teach. But I think it's up to the teacher, it's up to the instructor, it's up to the politician, the professor, to find a way to leverage the tool. That's your job and your responsibility to lead. Lead your students and use the tool accordingly.
That's good. I think that's good. I like this. That's a good
Might be
take on that.
unpopular. Might be unpopular, but I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Screw it. I think it's the way you got to do it. I think
Hey,
it's the one that makes the most sense.
this you know what? That's the show is about the how this how the how we remember the human, how the human will be changed by technology, specifically focusing on AI, right? So I'm always
Yeah.
interested in actual human stories about it. This is a human story.
Yeah.
How does a teacher embrace ChatGPT? Because who knows? There's probably countless other teachers that are trying to fight it, but again, it's an uphill battle. Like you just said,
Oh,
like
man.
it's no different than software piracy, music piracy. Remember the Napster days, and they fought Napster. They fought it hard, and one way you could say is they won. The record companies did beat Napster, but did they
Mm-hmm.
stop streaming music? Did they stop how they distribute music now? No, Spotify's
Mm-hmm.
doing rather well. Last I checked,
Mm-hmm.
Apple
Mm-hmm.
Music, they're doing okay.
Very much so, man. Very much so. I don't know, man. You're not going to beat it. The momentum is too high. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you get government regulation that shuts it down, which I don't think happening anytime soon. Find a way to use it, man. And if you're talking about changing the human from the perspective of teaching, man, it just enriches the student's life. It really does. It gives them more opportunity to learn. It gives them a greater depth of research. They can learn way faster. So it's like, man, challenge your students. Push them. Let them use the tool to find even more insights. Like, it's going to make your students better. It
Yeah.
really does. And if anyone disagrees with me, I'd love to hear the opposition to that. If they
Yeah.
say it makes students dumber or lazier, I would love to hear that
Mhm.
because I think it's something that's worth debating. It's
That's
it's
fair.
subjective in nature, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see who if anyone says any dissenters have a different opinion after this airs. I would love it though. Honestly, I'd love to hear the different perspective.
I'm with you on that one. So let's transition a little bit over from teaching in an academic sense to your coaching business. So you run High Rise Leadership. High Rise Leadership, from in what I've seen and researched, is you're best known for your workshops that you deliver. You deliver a lot of resiliency workshops. Says I got some notes here that say some sales stuff. Um, to tell me a little bit about these workshops and what they
Sure.
are today, because I want to start with what your take is on what you deliver today, and then we're going to talk about how you feel AI is going to have impact on that in the next year or 2 years or whatever.
hmm Well, yeah, right now it's all leadership behavior, self-leadership workshops, which is teaching people, behaviors such as curiosity, humility, understanding how to set vision, how to encourage the heart of people, how to coach people, how to communicate with people, leadership. So you have a lot of people in business who, they can tell people what to do, but how do you lead effectively? Leadership is about the other person. It's not about you as the individual. It's about leading the other person, about lifting them up, helping them become the best versions of themselves they can be. So those are the workshops I teach. But you can't lead anybody if you can't lead yourself first. So you must learn to lead yourself first, which is all about self leadership. So those are the workshops that I run, companies of all sizes, small, mid, large. And so what I do is I typically find an assortment of research to back up my philosophies, to back up my claims, my opinions. Because I can have an opinion, but is it true? I have to go to the literature. I have to go to psychological texts. I have to debate people from a philosophical perspective on certain philosophies. Like, is this accurate? Is this not accurate? Because a lot of this is just it's made up from my own mind. Like you can go to school and learn leadership, but I take a more different, unique approach to leadership where my philosophies aren't, cut and dry. You're going to find a lot of my philosophies in leadership texts and what have you, but a lot of them you won't because that's insight. That's what you derive from experience, from stories, from lessons that you've learned. So that's what I do for work. And the question is, how does something like AI and ChatGPT impact me? Man, big way, big way. I think about this a lot where anybody now in an organization, like a learning and development team, for example, or an HR team, they, if they wanted to, could go to ChatGPT and ask them to put together a course or a workshop, a 2-day workshop on critical thinking. Each day has to be 8 hours long. It has to have group discussions. It has to have moments of lecture. It has to have questions. It has to have takeaway tools. Create this workshop for me. And you can create that for you. And somebody can go and teach that, which means that someone could replace me very easily. Do I believe it? No, they can't replace me. And that might sound cocky, but the reason why they can't replace me is because I come to the table with a lot more stories. I come to the table with a lot more insights, things that I don't think ChatGPT can create, insights that I don't think ChatGPT can come up with. Because I do think that this is where the uniqueness of the human brain comes in. I think that through story, through dialogue, through discussion, by understanding people, the heart, traumas, the cognitive resilience that people have, situations, subjectivity. AI is not there yet, man. I don't think you can replace that. And so this is where I think expertise really matters and depth in your field really matters. And my field, I can't speak for all fields. I can only talk for my field because I don't know what other fields are like. But from my field in particular, I think that it's going to be hard for somebody to come in with the level of insight that I have and compete with me with just coming up with a program on ChatGPT. And the reason why I know that is because I've used ChatGPT to see if I can put myself out of business. And right now you can't. Because right now I'm like, oh, ChatGPT will never be able to make the leap over the chasm to come up with the insights that I'm currently delivering. It just can't. But what it does do is it makes me better. Because before, what it did do, where during the pandemic, I loved it because I should be careful with that. I shouldn't say I love the pandemic because the pandemic was brutal for a lot of people and industries. But the pandemic for me was good because it enabled me to pause for a moment, right? It enabled me to stop. So I was reading through a lot of just research in neuroscience and psychology, and it would take me days to go through a paper. It's just so long. Some of these papers are just 90 pages. What ChatGPT can do now is it can summarize all of that in mere minutes and give me the golden nuggets of it. That to me, I'm like, I wish I had this 2 or 3 years ago. It would have sped things up so much faster. So what it's actually doing for me now is it's making me a better professional. Again, I'm not scared of the tool. I'm not worried about it putting me out of business. I'm trying to find a way to make me better as an individual, make me better as a trainer, make me better as a leadership development facilitator. If you look at it that way, you'll find a way to use the tool. Do I think one day it could put me out of business? I'm going to try to stay a page ahead a step ahead of ChatGPT, and I'm going to hope to keep it that way. And if at some point in time I have to partner with ChatGPT or a like tool in order to make me better, I'll have to figure that out at some point in time. But right now, it's a tool to be used and leveraged, man. That's for sure.
That's interesting. So I like because you're right. I was writing down some notes here about, you know, what you're describing, the humility, the empathy, the insights, like human experiences, trauma. Like these are very human in nature, right? Like you can
Very.
absolutely, we could maybe make an AI to simulate that with different technology.
Mhm.
Um, I was curious. So you talked about it a lot about how ChatGPT and AI is enhancing you to make you a better trainer. I'm curious about the people that you're training. So you think of it like this is a little bit different than like the teaching aspect. And all like I certainly try to equate coaching and teaching together, but they are very different. Where in coaching, I don't think you're giving people grades in the same sense. They're not getting
Mhm.
that there's not an end in
Mhm.
sight. Coaching is a continual progress to improve. So with that context of like, can AI provide such human level coaching?
Mm.
Do you see AI enhancing your ability to deliver coaching other than just improving yourself to become a better coach?
Using AI to deliver better coaching. How so? How so?
Well, that's a good question. I think that's kind of the question. So you have this bunch of trainees or people you're coaching. Do you envision AI having a role in how you deliver? Very similar to how you did that with teaching, how your delivery, your rubric has changed,
Mm.
your methodology of teaching has
Mm.
changed.
Mm.
But
Mm.
coaching is not quite the same thing.
Yeah,
How do you
very
see AI
different.
having a fit in that world in as you see today?
Man, it's such a fascinating discussion and one that you and I have had many, many a time
Yeah.
where I deliver workshops. I come in, I parachute in, I do my 2 day. In some cases, 2 day, and some days 1 day, and some days it's 3 hours, and some days it's 90 minutes. And I come in and I leave. My whole goal, as I always say with every workshop, is to plant seeds that I hope that they nurture, that they grow, that they give soil, sunshine, rain, nutrients. I can't, they're not going to walk away from every workshop or from any of my workshops remembering everything. It's impossible. So my whole goal is to just take one or two things away that they grow on their own. That's putting a lot of trust in them to give it that seed that was planted. Because every single time I'm done my workshop, I say, what's one seed that was planted with you? And they share that seed. And I walk away and I say, man, I really hope that they grow that seed that was planted. Because what could happen in their lives if they do? What positive outcomes could they create if they do? So to ask the question about how ChatGPT can be used within coaching, within coaching, if I have the ability to engage them on a regular basis, I can't do everybody at the same time. It's too difficult. Like that's hundreds upon hundreds and thousands of people to coach. I can't do that. But if I was in some way able to leverage a piece of AI technology that enabled me to ask them questions, that enabled me to remember that seed that was planted and give them prompts daily to help them remember what seed was planted and give them encouragement through education, through questions, through um, potential exercises that could make them remember that seed and try and use that in their day. Man, I think there's opportunity there. I think there's potential. I think that's something to build. I think that's something to grow. I think it's a niche area, but man, I truly believe that ChatGPT can take what you teach people in a workshop, see what they learn, and then use a tool like AI or ChatGPT, for example, to ensure that what was learned sticks. Because once I walk away, man, I'm telling you right now, my level of confidence in terms of things that stick with them, and maybe and I get this criticism a lot from colleagues and mentors and coaches of mine. They say that I'm pretty pessimistic about this. Maybe I am, but I'd rather be pessimistic about it and ensure I'm doing the right thing. Because what I'm saying is, I think I walk away and I don't know if people put into practice what I teach. I think that they sit there and they love my workshops. They say, this was great. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. But in my mind, I just know what life is. Sure, you're going to say that right now when the fires are hot. You just got out of here. The fires in your chest are burning. You're like, yes, it's exciting. But then life hits. I got to exercise. I got to do homework. I got to do shopping. Oh, debt and health problems and stresses and money problems. And, what's happening on, The Voice today. Like, there's so much fighting for our attention that unless there's some tool that is driving them, or some driving force, not even a tool, a driving force for them to put in practice what they learned, I don't think they're going to change. I really don't. And maybe that's me being overly pessimistic, but I think my pessimism is going to drive me to be curious around how to use these tools, to become a better coach, to find a way to use these tools to create the kind of behaviors that I think we need to see in order to truly change the way that people run their lives or live their lives. And that to me is inspiring. And it's something that my mind has not stopped thinking about for the last few months. How can I use this tool? I don't know the answer yet,
Okay,
but I'm going to keep thinking about it.
interesting. That's good. That's great. That's a great answer. So let me take a bit of a detour to kind of circle back a little bit.
Please.
So in the context of like a coachee or someone who takes, you said like someone who takes your leadership training out, the seeds there get planted, and you want to help them get that reinforced, right? Because there's so much grab for their attention. So let's take that hypothetical, and that person who got the seeds planted in their mind after the coaching, they go, you know what, I'm going to use Chat GPT or whatever to provide. So you're going to an artificial intelligence to reaffirm seeds that are planted about very human
Hmm.
experience. So in a weird way, and I'm not, this is meant to sound the way it sounds, I guess, is you're asking for like the person is now getting an artificial into a non-human to teach it and reinforce very human lessons. Now, in a weird way, that's clearly kind of replacing you. So you said you're a bit pessimistic about it. I'm just curious on what your take is on, like, do you think a coach in that sense could be replaced? Because that coach is available more than you can be,
Hmm.
right? So I'm
Hmm.
curious, like, how does that fit into that mold?
That's a damn good question, man. It's a damn good question because in the end, can ChatGPT replace a human coach? Yes and no. It
Okay.
depends, which is a lot of answers in life. Yes and
Nope,
no, and it
that's
depends.
fair.
It's a gray area. I say yes because if it comes down to just, I need knowledge, give me knowledge, I think ChatGPT has got humans beat. It'll give you all the knowledge you want in a split second. So if I need to know something, it'll give it to me. But to help me navigate my own problems in order to, or to help me navigate my own problems, to help me find common ground with another human being who has gone through something, to show understanding, to make me feel heard, listened to, cared for. I don't think you're going to get that from ChatGPT yet. I mean, I don't know. You ever see that movie? What's that movie called with that robot girl that was just created? Oh, what's that movie called? In artificial intelligence. Come
I
on,
know.
what's it called? Yeah, you know
I
what it is though.
I know what you're talking. The yeah. I can't think of it right
Megan,
now.
Megan,
Megan, there it is.
Megan. Oh
Megan.
my God, yeah. Well, Megan clearly had an effect on the little girl, so maybe that's where we're going. Right now, I don't think so. And what I'm getting to is that a human being, a coach, has the ability to make somebody cry, good tears, has the ability to make somebody feel. When you, as a coach, when you look into the eyes of somebody when you're speaking or when you're providing guidance, you see that they're feeling something. They're feeling your words. It's like, oh, that one hit. I don't know if you're going to get that from technology. Humans, we got to touch the heart, right? That's one of the exemplary practices of leadership, right? Encourage the heart. I don't think that ChatGPT, that AI, the technology can encourage the heart yet. I think that's something humans can do. And so when it comes to coaching, that one-on-one relationship that you build with somebody, to encourage the heart of somebody to say, I believe in you. Go out there and get it. Give a big hug, right? You're getting that dopamine release. You're getting that, the oxytocin from that. Like, I don't think you're going to get that. I mean, if you're talking at a molecular level, I don't think you're going to get that from technology. Albeit unless Megan comes around and starts hugging humans and we're all doomed, right? Then humans, who needs them anymore? Hey, if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It's creepy, but it's a great movie. And maybe it's a sign of the future. But at this point, man, I think that's where humans win. I think that you can use ChatGPT to replace a coach if all you're doing is giving information. But I think the ability to connect with somebody at a human level, again, man, that's not anywhere that technology can be right now, which means that IQ, in my opinion, is far less important than EQ at this point in time. Emotional intelligence to me, being able to understand how somebody feels, being able to identify with someone's emotions, being able to be there for somebody. This is why empathy is so important, cognitive and affective. To be able to empathize with with another human being is something that technology cannot do. It's something that coaches can do. If you are dedicated to your practice as a coach, then you absolutely should be digging deeper into that and understanding, hey, how do I develop greater empathy? Start by just understanding it. Go ask ChatGPT what empathy is. Ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I develop empathy? Hey, ChatGPT, give me exercises that I can do to become more empathetic as a coach. Great. Now then go do it because
Yeah.
ChatGPT can't empathize.
It's a great point. That's a great point.
Thanks, dude.
I want to bring it back to something I saw on the High Rise Leadership. I think it's on your website. It's a goal you have. So I'm going to take it a little bit lighter from the how it's impacting coaching, but how it's going to impact your business.
Mm,
So High Rise Leadership, according to this, has a mission to have 80 million certified high rise leaders globally. So certified, so 80 million people you want to have certified. That's your goal.
hmm
That's an ambitious goal. And how many coaches do you have employed that work with you?
Like one. Just
One.
kidding. You're like, oh my God. I don't know. Maybe like I would say they're not coaches that work with me because that's so I should actually frame that up so you understand what that means.
Sure.
So 80 million is 1% of the approximately 1% of the population. And I
Okay.
believe that if you have 1% of the population understanding leadership behaviors and self-leadership skills, that it will make the world a better place. I
Okay.
believe if you have 1% of the population living and breathing these philosophies, these behaviors, these skill sets, that it does make the world a better place. It makes families better. It makes teams better, workplaces better, communities better, cities better, provinces, states, countries better. And I truly believe this is how you make the world better. If we can all understand how to lead ourselves and lead others instead of judging, instead of looking down at people, I think we make the world a better place. So that 80 million essentially comes from me going through these workshops and training people. When people are trained in these skill sets and they complete a test, then they do the test and they get their certification. They get their certification, they maintain that certification. That's how you work to 80 million. So right now you're probably sitting at like just under 80,000. So I
Okay.
got a long way to go, man. I got a long way to go. A lot of scaling to do.
So so that's exactly where I want to. So 80 million is about 1% of the world, I guess, right? That's what we're
hmm
looking at for 8 billion people.
Correct.
So, and it's a lot of languages, it's a lot of
hmm
time zones, it's a lot of everything.
Very.
Have you looked at where generative AI specifically or any AI technology fits into that goal?
Yeah.
And in
hmm
terms of like the being more scalable
hmm
and I'm serious on what your take is on that concept for your business and like, down the line trying to achieve this goal, but also what do you think the trade-off or risk is from adopting something like generative AI to deliver a goal to get 80 million certified high-rise leadership specialists?
Such a great question, and I don't know the answer yet though. But the one thing I will say is that I have continued to hold that vision to be true in my mind, and I've always said I don't know how I'm going to get it, but keep that in your mind, and you'll figure it out at some point in time. It's like I don't need to see the entire road in order to get from here to New York City. I don't need to see the entire road. All I need to know is that I just need to see, the kilometer ahead of me, a few meters ahead of me, and just keep going. And eventually I'll get there. The same is true with this vision. And when ChatGPT comes along, then I start hearing about generative AI. I'm like, okay, like now the vision is starting to come true. Just keep moving forward. So I'm going to pop open Duolingo and I'm going to start learning Spanish because you know what? Like Spanish is the most spoken language in the world next to Mandarin and then English. It's like, well, I better brush up on my Spanish then because for me to hit 80 million, I better be able to translate this in a different language. So I got to do that. Well, then I find out that, with AI, it's like, oh, well, I don't need to. Like it can take all of my podcasts, all of my lectures, and it can translate it pretty accurately on its own. Where before I would have to hire a translator or I'm having to speak and I'm like, well, maybe I don't have to speak it. Maybe I can learn to speak it just for fun. But from a professional standpoint, maybe we can do this. Maybe it can generate content out of all of the or generate Spanish content out of all the stuff that I've already created. And so this is where, again, like as a human being, it's actually opening my eyes to say, hey, maybe this goal can actually be achieved within my lifetime. Because I even came to terms with that. I'm like, maybe this doesn't get achieved within my lifetime, Ryan Michael Caligiuri's lifetime. Maybe this gets achieved within the lifetime of high rise leadership and following people who come afterwards. But that's the vision that high rise leadership will continue to have. But maybe within my lifetime, it's possible. So with generative AI, it's like it's going to be able to do things that I could never do. I think about like the Matrix, right, where it's like, download kung fu. Hold on, now I know kung fu. Oh, amazing! It's well not the same thing, but hey, translate all my lectures that I have. If I have 100 lectures, translate these into Spanish. You tell me. I don't know. I'm not the expert. I have no idea, but I feel like AI can do that for me. AI could generate new exercises for me from those lectures. It could generate new questions, new assignments from those lectures. It's like, oh my God, the possibilities are endless. And to be able to hit that goal and continue to engage people who have already been certified, my God, like the possibilities are endless. And so now it's just, how do I use these tools? Which is where the excitement's coming from. But is it true though? Like you tell me. Can I do that even with AI? Like what tools exist? Like maybe not what tools, but is it even possible? So if I had podcasts, which I do, I have podcasts. It did like 1 million downloads per episode, what have you. Like I got a lot of listeners around the world, but I don't have listeners in different countries. Could I go ahead and take my podcast and translate that into Spanish or Mandarin, for example, at a pretty decent like a pretty decent accuracy rate? Not 100%, but close.
So from the stats aspect of it, yeah, you
Mm.
absolutely can. So I don't know if you've been on Spotify recently. So this is just a light example. Have you seen that new feature? They have the DJ feature.
Pretty cool.
It is
Pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. So
Yeah.
that's all reading your data, but then what it's doing is it's generating text. So you think about that. So it's just like, hey Ryan, blah 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 blah. Let's talk about this track you haven't heard in 5 months, and it knows
Yeah.
really good details. It's a DJ just for you, and
Hmm.
it gives it that human touch. But it's generating that text, but it's also
Cool.
there's nothing preventing that from translating it to all like 50 different languages,
Right.
right? Like
That's
you could,
true.
so it doesn't, it's all the same from the inside out. So from your perspective, right, you look at some of the things they do at just built into PowerPoint,
Hmm.
right? So I've seen presentations where they are delivering it live on a stage in Florida or wherever.
Hmm.
That voice is turning into text. That's English text. That English text is translated to multiple languages, and
Mm.
then they take that text, put those subtitles up on the screen behind you or on your screen on your
Incredible.
device, and they can also turn that text into audio. Now it's a little bit of latency, so it's not going to be one to one, but when you're looking at a translated thing that's being translated live,
Hmm.
so it
Dude,
is completely doable.
incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. And that's what I mean. It's just, if you are fighting, to go back to the very beginning of what our conversation was, if you're fighting these tools, you're working from a deficit. Work forward. How can I use this tool? How can I leverage this tool? Ask a better question, you get a better answer. If you ask yourself a shitty question, you're going to give yourself a shitty answer. Sorry, I should have. If you're going to ask
that's
yourself a
fine.
bad, okay, good. I don't want to make sure if rated G,
No,
rated PG. Okay.
no,
But if you're going to ask yourself a bad question, which is like, how do I prevent my students from using these tools? Like, oh man, like, come on. Like, no, you have to ask yourself better questions. How can I engage my students in a far better educational experience by using these tools? If you don't know the answer, that's okay. Keep asking yourself that question. And maybe even ask ChatGPT that question if your subconscious isn't giving it to you. If your conscious mind isn't giving it to you, ask ChatGPT. I'm sure they'll give you some good ways to do it.
yeah, totally. So we're getting come to the end here. I think we've gotten a little pretty good here. I think we've got a real rounded conversation, but I want to
Mhm.
close it out
Mhm.
with we started off with what you first think of when you think of AI when it comes to mind. I want to ask you what excites you when you look at the future of AI and humanity, and what you see as like that. What's that one thing that's like that's the thing that AI is going to just change, or like what excites you, what motivates you, what what drives you for the future with an AI
Man,
enabled future for humans?
I don't know how to process this yet. I'll give you my very raw thoughts.
Yeah,
I think that as human beings, we forget that we're animals. We forget that we're animals walking around in clothes, and we like to think that we're smarter than we are, more wise than we are, but we're not, man. Well, yes, we're super brilliant and incredible when it comes to creating amazing innovations. You know, like when I go up north to Gillum and I see what they've done with electricity with Manitoba Hydro, and I look at their generating station, I sit there in awe and I say, humans built this? It's incredible. And then you go and you see technology like our ability to speak. Like this didn't exist 25, 30 years ago. Our ability to have Teams and Zoom is incredible. When we put our minds to certain technology or to a certain challenge, man, we could do great things. But then when it comes to debates and society, I look at us and I'm like, we're dumb animals again. Like when our minds aren't focused on something specific, on something good, if we're not building something, man, we're just loose cannons. And so what gets me excited is I think that when we look at politics, when we look at how decisions are made, what's the best decision to be made, I really get excited. And I know immediately there's people out there who have the complete opposite viewpoint of this, which is why I said I haven't been able to process it yet. But I do think that putting certain decisions in the hands of AI may be a good thing for us, where they're going to make a better decision with the right, I'm going to say, with wording that exists right now, right? With the right prompts, with the right information, I do believe that it can give us some really good insights in terms of how to solve really complex problems in society today that we just aren't able to get over because we're too biased, we're too tribal, we're too polarized, we allow cognitive distortions to run our thought process. And so we can't think critically about really complex problems. Well, AI doesn't care about feelings or, well, maybe a little bit of bias. Yes, of course, there's bias ingrained in ChatGPT, but um, I do believe that we can get closer to center by using these tools to help us find the right solutions, to help people with healthcare problems, to help countries understand what decisions to make, to help understand what the best way is to solve these challenges like hunger or how to protect the environment. When I see AI being used for that, man, that gives me hope because it can pull us out of our weak humanness. What makes us weak as human beings, our inability to work together and our desire to fall into tribes. And I think that if we can leverage ChatGPT to help expedite that process, or not ChatGPT, but AI, sorry, AI more particularly, if we can use AI to help us solve some of these big problems that we as human beings just can't deal with, then maybe our world becomes a better place. And I know that the opposite to that is people coming back to what we talked about originally, which is Terminator. And maybe AI says, "Hey, you know what? Machines are better at running this planet than humans are. Let's erase all humans." I get that. I know that's a potential option, and the robot overlords are going to take us over. Maybe, maybe not. I think that that's our brain again going worst case scenario, which our brains do, which is what we're doing right now, which is why a lot of people fight ChatGPT and AI. But I believe that it has the potential to make our world a better place by helping to guide and lead politicians, teachers, executives, journalists to have more well-rounded opinions and thoughts. Even law enforcement, people who have power and authority in this world. I feel like things like AI can help them make better decisions to make our world a better place. That's how I see it.
Okay. Well, Ryan, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, brother.
So is anything you want to throw on here? Any plugs you want to throw out there for where people can find you, where people can see you next, or subscribe or whatever?
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Tune into my podcast, Caligiuri, Caligiuri. Got to come up with a better name. No, I don't. It's like Seinfeld, baby. It's my last name. Learn how to spell it. Just kidding. No, but follow me on LinkedIn. RM Caligiuri, Ryan Michael Caligiuri. Follow me on LinkedIn and see what I'm up to, see what I'm doing. And if anyone wants to continue the discussion, feel free to reach out to me and continue the discussion with me through LinkedIn. Or if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear your disagreements.
Okay. Well, Ryan, thanks a lot for being on the show, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, man.
Subscribe, follow, and learn more at www.rememberthehuman.ai.